If you haven't already downloaded Filmora, get started by going to filmora.wondershare.com, or you can find the link in the description. First, I'm going to place the 3 clips we filmed onto the timeline. Place the 16mm video on the first video track, the 50mm video on the second video track, and the 200mm video on the third video track. Then, let's make sure we sync all the 3 clips perfectly. Let's hide the videos on the second and third video track. I'm going to find where the subject claps on the video track 1. Add a position keyframe here as a marker. We'll also be using this keyframe in the latter steps. Then, unhide the video on the second video track and find where the subject claps. Add a position keyframe here. And of course, we can repeat the step and add a keyframe to the video on the third video track too. To sync all the clips, align all 3 keyframes like this. And our clips are all in sync. It's time to start creating the actual effect. I'll move the playhead to where I want to end the zoom out at. Add markers to the clip by pressing M on the keyboard. I'm going to move all the keyframes to here too. Then add a scale keyframe to every clip at the same spot. Hide the video on the third video track. Next, highlight the video on the second video track. Go to the settings window, change the opacity to a lower number. This will allow us to see the bottom video through the second video track. As I can see through the video now, let's scale and reposition this video clip to match the video on the first video track. If you cannot see if it's matching perfectly, you can zoom in from the menu here. Sometimes, you might have to rotate the clip to match. Once I think the clips are matched, I'm going to drag the opacity bar in the settings window to double check. If I'm good with it, then I'll leave the opacity at 100 and move on to match the video on the third video track. Unhide the video on the third video track and change the opacity to a lower number. Adjust the scale and position to match to the video on the second video track. Feel free to spend more time in this step for the best result. Alright, once all 3 clips are aligned perfectly, let's move the playhead back for 1 second and add markers to all the clips. Add keyframes to the scale and position for all the clips. In this frame, let's match from the third video track. Keep the opacity of the video on a low number. Adjust the scale and position of it so I have an ideal frame to start the effect from. Then, select the video on the second video track and adjust the scale and position to match to it. After that, hide the video on the second video track and repeat the step to match the video on the first video track. When all the clips are matched, unhide the video on the second video track and play it back. I noticed that there's a color difference between the clips, so let's fix them. Select the video on the third video track, go to the settings window, video tab, and find the masking section. I'm going to select the freehand mask here. Create a mask around the subject. Adjust the expand and blur strength accordingly. Next, select the video on the second video track and create a freehand mask again. Adjust the settings accordingly. Now, adjust the color settings of the videos to match each other. Play back the timeline, and we just created a super zoom effect.